There's a Trump PAC ad that's going up in Pennsylvania, Georgia, Nevada, and Arizona. All right, so Pennsylvania is part of that blue wall. Georgia, Nevada, Arizona. He lost all those states last time around, but is polling very well in them right now. As soon as possible, according to the Super PAC, backing Trump. This is part of MAGA's $5 million per week ad blitz. Let's see it.
Kamala was in on it. She covered up Joe's obvious mental decline.
Our president is in good shape, in good health, tireless, vibrant, and I have no doubt about the strength of the work that we have done.
But Kamala knew Joe couldn't do the job, so she did it. Look what she got done. A border invasion, runaway inflation, the American dream dead. They created this mess. Kamala owns this failed record.
That's the thing, Emily, because she may have his assets in terms of his, nearly $200 million in donations since she was actually on the ticket when they became the nominee and vice presidential nominee. She also has his liabilities.
Yeah, there are a couple of really big things the Trump campaign has going for it in a Kamala Harris candidacy. One is that it's really easy to, at the RNC last week, there's just so much talk of Biden migrant crime, Biden inflation. That's actually really easy to swap out with Harris migrant crime, especially because she was the immigration czar, and Harrisflation. So those parts are actually pretty transferable. But also this coup argument that we've heard more and more from the Trump campaign, that Democratic donors fomented a coup and ousted Joe Biden against the will of the voters. I mean, we could get into the merits of the argument, but it's actually a pretty powerful argument. It's one that suggests that a narrative a lot of people already buy into, which is that elites are rigging these processes against them, that they're putting, people who are bought and paid for by corporate interests up there. That will go right into something a lot of people believe in a populist sense. So those Obama-Trump voters in places like Wisconsin and Pennsylvania and Ohio will have a lot to think about, in addition to this super powerful cover-up argument. If you have clips of Kamala Harris talking about how vibrant Joe Biden is, that you can run over and over again in Pennsylvania, Ohio, Wisconsin, places like that, Michigan, for the next couple of months. It's a huge problem for her to deal with. There's no question about it.
Here's a little bit more of that. The Trump campaign found some. We found some more. Watch.
I think that if there is any question about the President Joe Biden's ability to do the job and do it well and do it with vigor and passion, last night dispelled any of that in terms of any notion of that.
I ask with all due respect, but, are you capable? Are you ready to step into the role and do whatever the country would need?
Absolutely ready. But thank God our president is in good shape, in good health, and is ready to lead in our second term.
So the way that the president's demeanor in that report was characterized could not be more wrong on the facts, and clearly politically motivated, gratuitous.
I spend a lot of time with Joe Biden, be it in the Oval Office or the Situation Room. So this whole issue that they are raising about his age is, again, because they've got nothing to run on. Because Joe Biden is very much alive and running for re-election. We have a very bold and vibrant president in Joe Biden.
Wow.
Those are worse than the ones the Trump campaign ran. Those are way worse than the ones in the ad.
We could have kept going. There's so much out there. She, of course, has been covering for him. And I do wonder, though, because if you look at it, Emily, the Democrat Party, there was this large faction that did not want Joe Biden to go, that actually didn't really like her, preferred him, said, you know what, he can do it. He's got a team around him. I'm not really too keen on her. She's annoying with her weird laugh. Or it's just like all of it. Her unburdened by what has been stupid attempts at rhetorical flair, which never land, never. She's never inspired anyone. Those people may be ticked off. We're just kind of assuming over on the Democratic side that they're going to be relieved. Like we're hearing sort of the establishment Dems. They sound relieved. He's a hero. He saved democracy. He's like JFK. He said, ask what, not what your country can do for you. But there may be a significant backlash yet to come by those Dems who said, hell no, don't go.
I think so. I mean, AOC just put her neck on the line and did like a very long Instagram live just a couple of days ago about how this was an elite coup against Biden, that her voters didn't have the luxury to afford being thrust into this chaotic process and potentially Democrats losing the next election. That's a pretty hard line in the sand to stake out. And so now asking people like her, and there were other people like that, I think a lot of them were sort of in the Justice Democrat arena. Those types of people now are going to be asked to defend a process that, to the point Rich was making about Obama not endorsing Kamala Harris yet. I mean, if it's a sham process where you have a bunch of Democratic establishment leaders, Bill Hillary Clinton, come out backing Kamala Harris, and everyone else is intimidated from jumping into it because you can transfer the war chest over to her and she's got all these endorsements, she's a sitting vice president. If that happens, then you're asking AOC to go along with it. I mean, Democrats have had a good time. I think have had a good run of getting AOC to take her marching orders. But this is asking a lot, especially
it's a fraud.
If the candidate is Kamala Harris. 100%.
Yes, it's a fraud.
And voters will see that.
I mean, I personally am all for the Democrats' decision to bounce him from his second term, as I've said repeatedly. I agree he's very easy for Trump to beat. I mean, not very easy, because the Democrats have a very powerful get-out-the-vote machine. But he would be easier, I think, than anyone else, given his infirmity. But I just love the country too much to root for it. I mean, he needs to go. He needs to go as president. That's the page I've been on since that debate and before. But the Democrat voters deserve to make this decision, not Nancy Pelosi, not Bill and Hillary, not Obama, even though he's smart enough to protect his own skin to outward facing say, oh no, we're going to have a process. But if it's a rigged process in which it's already Kamala's, I do think a lot of Democrats could be pissed off enough to say, you know what? Screw you, Democrat elites. I was close enough to Team Trump, Vance, who are kind of flirting with some of my Democratic ideals anyway, that I'm jumping ship. That's one of the dynamics we have to watch over the next coming days. I want to tell you a couple things that are just in. Vice President Harris has issued a statement. I'm honored to have the president's endorsement, and my intention is to earn and win this nomination. Representative Lloyd Doggett, right? Okay. The Texas Democrat, who was the first to publicly call for Biden to withdraw, says that while Vice President Harris is clearly the leading candidate, we should be open to all talented individuals who wish to be considered. He commended the president for his painful and difficult decision. And then there's this. Do we have this Coons soundbite, guys? Okay, look at this. Chris Coons, Senator Chris Coons of Delaware, who is the Biden-Harris campaign co-chair, and he'd been one of Biden's staunchest defenders, is on TV in tears. Look at this.
Joe Biden is grounded. He's grounded in his faith, in his family, and in our state. Excuse me.
Oh, God.
I'm sorry. This was a very difficult decision.
You should cry. You lied and you got caught. Now you've been publicly humiliated. And you caused all this chaos in your own party. Thanks so much for watching. If you like what you just saw, hit the subscribe button for more clips and full episodes.